Hey guys, Bix, we're roadtoruta.com. I'm very excited to have my computer back. Yes, it imploded, everything got destroyed. Luckily, I back everything up because I get a computer attack almost daily. No, not daily. It seems like every 6 months I go back to the same Apple store and talk to the same guy. And I go, yep, they nailed it again. So they replaced the hard drive and all these boards. It's insane on the road to Ruta. But I have a Cliff High interview and Jason for the Three Amigos interview in about half an hour. I thought I'd give this thing a little test so I can make sure I do some recording on it. So I'll go through Zero Hedge, which I haven't done in a while. Truthfully, I haven't even looked at Zero Hedge in quite a few days, which is unlike me. So I'm sure there's some exciting things. Merkel wins German election despite worst results since 1949. German polls have officially closed and the first exit polls numbers come in, confirming the expected fourth victory for Angela Merkel. However, with a far lower than expected 32.5% of the vote, while her main challenger, the SPD, gets only 20%. The German elections are rigged. That's all you need to know. They're rigged, just like every other election. It's all rigged. Once computers got introduced into the electronic voting system, it was over. There was no doubt in my mind it would be rigged at all times. Yes, Trump got in because the computer good guys, as I call them, were better riggers than the bad guys rigging the computer votes for Clinton. So yeah, there's no such thing as true voting these days. That will change. Blockchain technology can fix that problem very easily. And there are some companies that are doing just that. So it'll be exciting to see the blockchain get injected into that thing that we have to deal with all the time. One of those many things, like Jamie Dimon saying that Bitcoin is a con, but blockchain is great. He loves blockchain because it can take away 90% of the expenses for his business. Because it's a truth and honesty machine. It's automated contracts. It's all kinds of things. But what is the most dishonest thing that we need to fix right now? According to me, it's the monetary system. Absolutely 100%. That's why all these bubbles are blowing, is because Janet Yellen's giving out free money along with everybody else. In Europe, you can't keep money in a bank or they charge you to do that. The insanity is insane. So the blockchain injecting truth and honesty into the monetary system, I think, is the #1 use for blockchain. Jamie Dimon is a liar. He's a cheater. He's a con man. And, history will not look upon him favorably, especially when these banks crash and all the criminality that goes on at JP Morgan is exposed. So keep that in mind as we go down this path of the banks wobbling, state and local governments wobbling, pensions funds wobbling. At some point in time, at some moment in time, they will fall again, and there will be no sunshine and happiness for the likes of people like Jamie Dimon. He will be brought before the court of public opinion, and hopefully we bring him in front of a court amongst his peers for the criminality. I mean, just go down the list of what you want to charge him for as a crime. He was the only banker in the Bernie Madoff case, which is a $50 million con, at least $50 billion. At least $50 billion. Most people say it's behind the scenes, they're saying $500 billion. It included the Mossad, and it was a way to pay off people and rig the markets. A lot of computer market rigging went on in the second floor of the Bernie Madoff building, and nobody talks about that, of course. But moving on, let's see what else we got. Defiant players kneel, join arms, avoid anthem as Trump calls for NFL boycott. What to do about this? I don't know. Do what you feel like doing. We're all individuals and we can make our own choices. I don't have a problem with them kneeling. I don't have a problem with them standing. I don't inject my feelings upon how other people should act unless it affects me individually. If it affects my free will, yes, I will jump up and down. This one, it's unpatriotic, but that's not a crime. There's a lot of things not to be patriotic in our country right now. The _1 thing is the banking system and the fraud and the criminality in the monetary system. So I would, if the national anthem was celebrating the banks, I wouldn't put my hand over my heart and pledge allegiance to that. So everybody has their own beliefs. I say let them do what they want. I get what Trump's saying. Yeah, you have to. They're benefiting from the fruits of our country. They're getting paid billions of dollars to be in the public limelight. Yeah, go protest them then. Do it. You have your right to protest. I agree with protesting things I don't believe in, and I believe that they can do what they want as well. It would be interesting if the NFL started losing more money, and that whole concept of these multi-zillion-dollar athletes getting paid phenomenal amounts of money goes away. No offense to my family members that are trying to be professional soccer players. So I just think it's a way overpaid profession. So yeah, I would protest it, not because I don't think they should be able to express their beliefs. I do. I can express my belief too by not paying to watch them kneel in front of the national anthem. All right, moving on. VIX shorts hit record high as U.S. household load up on stocks. Who knows where this bubble is going to go? They might just click off the stock exchange, just shut it down, and so the shorts won't make money, and the longs won't make money. The big problem within the stock markets is the unbacked rehypothecation that goes on. All these shares, they're not being put in your name. If you have a 401k or a savings account or anything in the electronic exchanges, the Dow, anything in the S&P 500, anything in that system, or in the COMEX or anything like that, they're all rehypothecated, and the music keeps going. The high-frequency trading, millions of shares per second, keep going until they stop, and then you got 10 people saying, hey, I own this share, this mining company share, and then there's 10 other people saying, I own that same share. I own that certificate. And in reality, none of you own the certificate. It's owned by Seed and Company, so what does it matter? Frightened Californians flood 911 calls after spy satellite launch. In the latest sign of paranoid times we live in, startling Southern Californians flooded 911 with calls Saturday night after the U.S. launched its newest spy satellite into orbit from Vandenberg Air Force Base. Yeah, I can see how that would freak people out. You're just sitting out there, with all the talk of nuclear war about to break out with North Korea, and they see this thing get fired off from the U.S. Is it a spy satellite? Is it what is it that was launched? Who knows? They're not going to tell you, so it doesn't matter. Maybe we did fire something at North Korea. They wouldn't tell you. Insider's view of the Bitcoinization of Venezuela. Hyperinflation is a very difficult thing to understand until you have to buy lunch. Venezuela is becoming a cashless society. This is a good example. Let's take a look at this article. This would be a good example, a good test case for the usefulness of Bitcoin as a means of exchange, because Venezuela is imploding. Just like every other country is about to implode. When the banks go down, everybody's going to be Venezuela. And here's a guy who was in Venezuela. With Venezuela's almost defaulting on their government debt this week, Daniel Oroso of Andean Capital Advisors has had a front row seat in the collapse of the socialist utopia, spending at least a week every month in the almost failed state. In a brief but fascinating interview on CNBC, Oroso discussed the fact that as Washington unleashes even tougher sanctions on Maduro, China and Russia are all that's left of the country with the largest proven oil reserves in the world. Then expose the realities of living under Maduro's crazed policies. Crazed policies, listen to this. Venezuela is one of the richest per capita nations in the world, but now hyperinflation is a very difficult thing to understand until you have to buy lunch. The country is not yet dollarized, but there's not enough dollars in Venezuela for that to have happened. Venezuela is becoming a cashless society. We are starting to see in Venezuela the first of Bitcoinization of a sovereign state. How awesome would that be if Venezuela saved their population by utilizing Bitcoin for what it was made for? It was made to be used as a currency, as a means of exchange, not as a store of value, you core developers. As we discussed previously, as oil prices continued their descent and Maduro's mismanagement of the country's economy intensified, Venezuelans choose a new way to protect themselves financially. Venezuela turns to cryptocurrencies. Between 2014 and 2016, the number of users on just one Venezuelan Bitcoin exchange skyrocketed from just several hundred to over 85,000 users. Cheap, subsidized electricity and failing currency pushed a number of young entrepreneurs to build their own mining operations. One trader, John Viller, Caracas-based software developer, most eloquently stated, "Bitcoin is a way of rebelling against the system." If Greece embraced Bitcoin like the Venezuelans are embracing Bitcoin, the whole European Union would have ended years ago when Greece was on its knees. But no, they had to go back and beg the EU for more money. Bitcoin is the saving grace. China is not going to shut it down. China is going to open their doors to Bitcoin when stuff like this happens. Every country has to, because the banking system is what's going to fail now. Derivatives in the hundreds of trillions, if not quadrillions of dollars, are about to go bad. The problems that we had in 2008 are not solved at all. At all. All right, let's keep going. Bitcoin's popularity in Venezuela continued to grow. It became the country's leading parallel currency. With infrastructure in place, trading and mining became more popular and the crisis escalating. As the crisis escalated, Maduro's government began to take notice. Maduro's war on Bitcoin. Now here comes the government. The Venezuelan government began to crack down on the Bitcoin community, with police extorting citizens for misusing electricity or undermining the country's economy. In February 2017, following the incident where 2 miners were caught with 11,000 mining computers, Suburb Coin, Venezuela's most popular exchange, went offline. The economic crisis continued to escalate as oil prices stagnated and Venezuela's oil production shuttered. What is next? On July 31st, in a highly controversial election, Venezuela voted for a new constituent assembly, giving President Nicolas Maduro even greater control of the country on the brink of war. The new pro-Maduro constituency will now have the power to rewrite the country's constitution. Critics of the election have suggested that the vote was manipulated. Duh, like every other manipulation. National Assembly President Julio Borges tweeted the vote was, quote, "the biggest electoral fraud in our history." Maybe the history of Venezuela, but not the rest of the world. We've had bigger ones. U.S. President Donald Trump announced in a statement, "The United States holds Maduro, who publicly announced just hours earlier that he would move against his political opposition, personally responsible for the health and safety of Mr. Lopez, Mr. Ledesma, and others seized. We are evaluating our options." As tensions rise, the country is entering a state of chaos. With the collapse of the economy, Venezuelans are running out of options. Bitcoin could come as a saving grace to many people. It has kept food on the tables of families, helped Venezuelans escape the distraught nation, and acted as a voice of rebellion against the oppressive government. But how Maduro's regime will proceed remains to be seen. Bitcoin can save humanity, people. When Jamie Dimon comes out and says, "Oh, the governments are going to shut it down," that is completely against our Constitution, completely against everything the United States stands for. And no, the governments are not going to shut it down. If they that would cause a revolution. If people have nothing to eat and the only place to go is to the government, yes, a revolution is at your door. And they'll go to Jamie Dimon's mansion first, and second, and third. There's nowhere to hide for Jamie Dimon, so of course he has to say, "Oh, stay away from Bitcoin, it's a bad thing." Bitcoin will be the only thing. You don't see him running to gold and silver saying, "Oh, we have to have gold and silver as money." Yes, there were some stories of a couple people who had silver supposedly bought mansions or something with a dime and things like that. Probably ridiculous stories, truthfully. I would rather have Bitcoin in Venezuela than I would want silver and gold. And it's proving out to be like that, exactly what they're saying here. I love silver and gold. I love silver because of the industrial application. But as a form of money, Bitcoin and silver and gold and all the cryptocurrencies will be competing to be the #1 choice for humanity when everything else falls apart. Humanity's going to choose the easiest thing, and it's going to be a cryptocurrency. I don't know which one. I would say Bitcoin, not really, because it's not fast enough. Bitcoin Cash, possibly, but we need more people to adopt it. But Litecoin will probably be the answer for the people of the United States of America when our government shuts down, when our banking system freezes like it's going on in Venezuela. It's not going to happen today. It might happen tomorrow. It might happen anytime in 2018 if you believe The Economist magazine. They've been writing on a lot of things. We'll see what happens this time. Anyway, I'm getting ready for the Cliff High interview. I will be getting back to you soon. This is Big Square, roadtoroot.com. Don't forget to like this video and send it to your friends. I'll talk to you later.